Finance Committee meeting. I will start with introductions to my left, please.
Brittany Norris for the administration.
Colleen Hampsey, Council Research.
Mary Stafopoulos, Office of General Counsel.
Philip Peterson, Council Auditor's Office.
Kim Taylor, Council Auditor.
Good afternoon. Rory Diamond, District 13, The Beaches.
Good afternoon. Nick Howland, at-large, Group 3.
Hello, Raul Ayers, District 11.
Joe Carlucci, District 5.
Will Lane in District 3.
Jacoby Pittman, District 10.
All right, thank you everybody for joining us. 1 second. Okay, all right. I do have, we're not done yet, so Mr. Salem, go ahead, right on time.
Ron Salem, Group 2 at large. Thank you, Chair.
Of course, you're welcome. All right, so for today's purpose, just kind of go over everything. We're going to have public notice, public cards here. I have one right now available. Then we're going to start with a presentation that I have for my legislation. And then we'll just proceed with the regular agenda. It should be a pretty quick one today, okay? So, all right. Mr. Carno Oliver, please, and you have 3 minutes on the clock. Thank you.
All right, thank you. My name is Carno Oliver.
I think you have your speaker, sir, the button.
Yes, my name is Carno Oliver. Today I want to talk to you about, I support his bill that he's moving forward, workforce training. But on September 10th, I sent an email that highlights workforce training and workforce development housing. This is intellectual property. And as a Black American, I know how this system works. If you use any portion of anything I've given to this community, I should be compensated for it. There are a lot of ideas that I put forward, like the jobs for jacks. You never paid me. I'm not a slave. But you cannot take ideas from somebody that actually cares for the people. So I want to get paid for legislation you introduce based off of what I put together. You're using portions of intellectual property. And I have a right to get my check. I want $200,000 a year. This is business. It's not personal. But I know what I know. Most of the emails y'all see, I include members of Congress. I include the state attorney's office, the federal regional attorney, the mayor. We're all family. So we got to start treating one another like family. I put in more work than anybody in this community because I actually care. And there's too many gatekeepers fighting for their own interests. And I yield my time.
Thank you, sir. Okay. So now we're going to start with the presentation. And yesterday during neighborhoods, I had 5 different entities, UNF, NEFBA, FSCJ, EWU, and Workforce Industrial Training Center come up and present. I have everybody here today as well, too. So I'm just going to have them present one more time in case some of my colleagues didn't hear the presentation. I'll make this one a brief one today. Instead of 15 minutes, we're going to condense it to 10 minutes total, so 2 minutes per entity that comes up. And so I'm just going to start off with UNF. If you don't mind, please come up and talk about the program and the need in the community and why your $6 million is critical. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Talking about Hodges Stadium and Visit Jack's Track, it's truly become an asset to the city of Jacksonville. Since UNF hosted its first NCAA track meet and its first high school track championship back in 2012, we have generated over 200,000 room nights and $160 million in economic impact for the city just through track meets alone. Over the past 5 years, we've actually had a lot more interest, and we're seeing an increase in events, and we're averaging 17,000 room nights and $15 million a year as a result. That's per year over the past 5 years. But due to the age of the facility, we do have some code compliance and life cycle projects that we need to address so that we can not only just maintain the current impact that we're having right now on the city, but we also can grow. We can host even more national and international events and drive in even more interest into the city of Jacksonville. So the NCAA track meet alone that we host every other year generates 12,000 room nights and $10 million. The next NCAA bid cycle for the 2028 through the 2031 NCAA championships for all sports comes up in February. And right now, without a serious investment into Hodges Stadium, I'd question whether we're really going to be able to host those because of the deterioration of the facility. Furthermore, this investment will allow us to build 2.5 grass practice fields, which will not only increase public access, but position UNF to host even more events because we can move certain functions out of Hodges Stadium into these fields, but also then we have these fields to be able to host events such as NFL. One of their biggest initiatives is girls flag football, and we'd have that capability on UNF's campus. We are requesting a match of $6 million for a $12 million project total. This project has a very strong ROI that will attract major international and national events, bringing a significant economic impact to our community while also enhancing a proven commodity into Hodges Stadium. I appreciate the consideration.
Thank you, sir. And I just want to recognize Dr. Moes for being here today, and we're going to miss you once you move out of the Jackson. I don't know if you already moved or not, but just want to recognize you here today, sir. Thank you. All right, up next, and we're just going to hold up on any questions from the body till all the presentations are done, okay? All right, next up, we'll have FSCJ, followed by NEFBA.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. John Wall, Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs for FSCJ, and on behalf of our President, Dr. John Avendano, I'd like to begin with a word about FSCJ and return on investment. Last year, in addition to a couple thousand degrees and technical certificates, FSCJ students earned 1,312 third-party industry certifications, ranking third among all Florida college system institutions, despite being the 6th largest institution in the system. We punch above our weight because we are deeply committed to workforce development, and that is driven by economic development data and our responsiveness to the needs of employers across the region. So as part of this bill today, we're seeking your support to expand this kind of high-impact workforce training. The workforce funding in this bill, combined with millions FSCJ has saved to put towards this project, will enable the acquisition of 40,000 square feet of training space at the Cecil Commerce Center. This expansion will allow us to increase both the quantity and quality of students we train in welding, HVAC, advanced manufacturing, and logistics, all industry needs here in Northeast Florida. Phase 1 of this expansion will focus on welding. Our welding program is currently operating at full capacity, with full cohorts running year-round during the day and part-time cohorts running year-round in the evening. Our downtown welding site is landlocked, and we have no room to grow. This new facility will allow us to double our welding capacity from 20 to 40 stations, meeting the needs of both students and employers. And at a cost of $5,000 to go through the program, it blows away what you would see from competitors in private training. These are life-changing wages for our students. As welders, bringing an average of $25 an hour with an annual salary exceeding $50,000. And also begin to open the talent pipeline for our region's infrastructure and manufacturing sectors. FSCJ is seeking additional funding to round out the rest of this, but our first priority is to get the welding piece stood up. Thank you for considering.
Thank you. All right. We have NEFBA next, followed by EWU.
Good afternoon. My name is Christina Thomas. I'm the Director of Workforce Development at the Northeast Florida Builders Association. Our apprenticeship program has been established since 1973, so over 50 years of local impact with 100% tuition-free apprenticeships. We currently train carpenters, electricians, HVAC technicians, and plumbers, all within the skilled trades. Every single one of our graduates the past 3 years has earned an industry credential, so we're at 100% on that. We have a 70% graduation rate, and currently we put $23.6 million immediately back into the local economy through our apprentices' wages. It's important to note that all of our apprentices are not only students that go to school 8 months during the year, but they actually work full-time for one of 205 different local area contractors. Our project, we have recently acquired and purchased a 43,000 square foot training center. It is being renovated right now to have 11 classrooms, 4 lab spaces, and our hope with this particular project is to expand beyond the evening classes that we offer to our apprentices to have daytime programming. Our goal is to expand our capacity to 600 apprentices by 228. We're well on our way with over 540 active apprentices in our program. We also do a lot of high school outreach that we will then invite that to get more young people to come into our program, although that particular number has moved considerably in the positive over the last couple of years. Our total project cost is $7 million. So we are asking for only 14% of that. We are fully sustainable. We do not anticipate coming back to the city of Jacksonville. We do have an agreement with FSCJ that even our apprentices get 27 credits towards an AS degree in industrial management. I'm going to leave you with the last words from one of our graduates who's a superintendent on our project. Said NEFBA's like family, they care. I wouldn't be where I am today without the apprenticeship program. As a father of 2 girls, I want to be the role model. One day I look forward to showing the daughters the city I helped build.
Thank you. All right. EWU.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Dr. Michael West. I serve as Vice President for Operations and Institutional Effectiveness at Edward Waters University. I'm here in regards to Bill 2025-0781. Our project is a $35 to $40 million living learning community center housed completely on the Edward Waters University campus. We do currently have 6 facilities that serve community resources and public services in the Newtown community: the Shell Suite Community Resource Center, Adams Jenkins Community Sports and Music Complex, along with the Edward Waters University Center for Prevention of Health Disparities. We also have the Edward Waters University Criminal Justice Building, which houses the JSO substation in that area. 12 of the 14 rooms in that building are occupied by JSO. 2 rooms are occupied by Edward Waters University. We, of course, have the Nathaniel Glover Stadium and Community Field, as well as the Samuel C. Newby Community Wellness and Fitness Center. So we do serve the Newtown community in a number of ways and in a number of locations on our campus. The new facility that we are looking to develop and build on campus is going to combine education as well as workforce development. When we think about education being equivalent to workforce development, we have re-engineered all of our degree programs over the last 4 years, adding 4 graduate degree programs as well as 11 undergraduate degree programs that are all aligned with today's workforce as well as the projected workforce over the next 5 to 10 years. We also have a number of partnerships with University of Florida, Mayo Clinic, FAMU, et cetera. The amount that we're looking for funding from the city is $2.7 million. That is specifically for the design, planning, and pre-construction portion of the project. We do have a term sheet in hand for the remainder of the construction component of the project. So we're certainly looking forward to the City Council's continued support of Edward Waters University, this particular project with the Living, Learning, and Community Center.
All right. Thank you, sir. Okay, I do have speakers on the queue now, and just for clarity, I have deferred this bill. I mentioned that yesterday. I know that a lot of council members have a lot of questions. I wrote a lot of them here, so I just hope that you all could please respond to them in a timely manner. I'm taking this up by the next committee week, so in 2 weeks from now. And then my only thing that I will add before we open up the conversations is that I mentioned this yesterday, but I will be putting an amendment on, whether it's on finance or if somebody carries it for me on Monday, but I want to be able to vote on, as a body, TDC dollars to tap into $3 million from TDC dollars to offset UNF's component of the $6 million, and then split that up where UNF's $3 million will be towards the infrastructure improvement, and the other $3 million from TDC dollars go strictly towards tourism type of uses, obviously, like fields and all that kind of stuff. The other part that I will say is that if anybody has any amendments, I would just ask that If it's going to be a lot, then just get with Mary and have them ready to go. That way, at least we can prepare for ourselves, because I feel that this is going to be a lot of moving parts. And it's $15 million, but there's 5 entities here. So I just don't want to convolute the whole process by floor amendments that day. So just get with Mary, and she'll have a spreadsheet ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to open the floor now. I'll start with committee members first and then visiting members. So I'll start with Council Vice President Howland. Go ahead and recognize.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. As everyone came up and talked about their initiative, it reminded me of the television show Shark Tank. I'll give you that $6 million for 20% of UNF. Except the only thing here is we are not using our own money, we're using taxpayer money. So it kind of, on the serious side, it reminds me of the very challenging budget season we just had, where we as a committee had to make several tough choices. And we did that knowing the challenges we were facing: deficits over the next several years, the cost of a new jail, the unknown unfunded liability from FRS entrants, collective bargaining again in the near future, and most importantly to me, the fact that citizens across Jacksonville are struggling every day to pay grocery bills, pay homeowners insurance, pay mortgage. But I'm proud of the budget that came through on the other side of those trials and tribulations. It went 15-2, which was great. The 2 are actually on the dais today, just in case. But the money we're spending or determining how to spend here is really no different than the money we're determining how to spend or that we determined how to spend in August and September. In fact, that's why I did an amendment to the original $45 million, of which this was a part, to say that the spending could be, quote, including but not limited to the intention of workforce development, higher education, or completion grants downtown. That's because all times that we budget and assign money, it's a matter of priorities. And the priorities of some people might matter now, and they might differ in June than they were. They might be different in November, or the priorities of mine might not be the priorities of my colleague on council. For example, your priority might be workforce development, higher education. Those are mine too, but more importantly to me, it's job creation, and it's been clear about reducing or eliminating future budget deficits. So as I look at this bill as it stands, I would absolutely support the workforce development pieces. I know that without doubt. The others I'm getting to, and I think there's ways we can do it, because my priorities have always been workforce development, and I do value, of course, the higher education entities within our city. But next year, we're likely to face one of the largest budget deficits we've ever had as a city, $62 million. So as we move forward, and this is deferred now, I would suggest that we consider breaking it up into parts. So a workforce development bill, maybe a UNF bill, maybe an EWU bill. And I'll try to figure out how we do that in the future. But I think that gives each one of them the most likelihood of success. And it allows us to consider the elements there. Also, as we look at if we fund UNF with $3 million from TDC, I heard Councilman Salem loud and clear yesterday. I'd love to see that go to the future cover and reduce the future budget deficit. So that's how I think these entities have the most likelihood of success moving forward, and that's where I would put my priorities. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So I have you as a yes vote. All right, moving on to Councilmember Woolinen.
Thank you, Chair. I think I may have slightly heard it differently there. But Chair, I have a question. So I was going to ask my question first to someone in the crowd, and then I'll just share some thoughts if that's okay. So through the Chair to the Edward Waters rep, I was at the notice meeting last Monday, and I went through all the entities. Edward Waters was the only one not there. And my big question was, can you do something useful, build something useful, train people, and not come back to us for more funding? My concern on the Edward Waters one, you mentioned that there's a term sheet for the remainder. So this $2.675 million we're considering, was that your way of saying that that in itself is not enough to do something useful, that you're going to have to come back to us? Because again, I'll go through the whole history of how we got this $45 million, but this is truly one-time money we're not going to get again. So could you just address that? Is this a one-and-done request? You can build something useful, or is this something we give you $2.675 million, and now it's putting us on the hook to have to give you more because that in and of itself doesn't really produce anything for you?
Through the chair. So the $2.67 million is for design, pre-construction, planning. We have a term sheet for a loan for the remainder of the project. So we would not be coming back to the city to cover that amount. We, of course, are looking and ideally be working with the city next year for an additional, 6.7. But for this particular fiscal year, we're looking for the 2.675 to get us started with the project.
So through the chair, just to draw a difference as I understand it, and obviously UNF is my district, so I've talked to them a lot more than I've talked to Edward Waters. But for what UNF is trying to do, it's $6 million, and then they have the $6 million already for a $12 million project with a commitment they're not coming back to ask for anything more next year. It doesn't sound like, through the chair to the Edward Waters rep, it does not sound like that's the case, that you, with this 2.675, that's the starting amount, and then you're going to ask for more next year. Is that correct?
That was in the initial ask, but the 2.675 is what we're looking for this year. If there was consideration opportunity next year, we would certainly want to talk about that. However, we do have a term sheet in hand that will cover the remainder of the project for a loan.
So, through chair, thank you. And I think as we go through this process, that's going to be one thing we got to be very careful about to make sure we're not committing ourselves. And if I can, Chair, just some thoughts. And Councilmember Howland said some things that I won't repeat that I had written down. But again, the reason we have this $45 million is for 9 quarters now we've been on council. Every quarterly report I've raised it. The self-insurance fund, we were over budgeting. And so finally, we knew we were over budgeting, and we're over budgeting by $45 million. We've adjusted the way we're budgeting. We will not have overages like this. This $45 million, we took it. It's there. It's in a contingency that requires 2/3 of a vote to do anything with. We're not going to get that again. And I also said in all these quarterly meetings that we had the group health fund that was about the same magnitude of a deficit each time. And so I thank Councilmember Salem for taking the lead on that, and I think we'll have some progress. But as it stands now, there's $23 million this year that we had to fund from the general fund. And next year, unless there's substantial changes, it could be about that again and about that in the future. So the surplus, we took it. We're never getting a surplus again because we've changed the way we budgeted. Group health will continue to be a headwind for our budget and as part of the projected deficits. One thing, speaking about deficits, something I heard yesterday when I was watching Neighborhoods, a council member brought up that the 1/8 millage rate reduction it made the deficit worse. That is mathematically false. I said this many times during the budget process, that the budget as proposed to the Finance Committee had a $90 million 5-year projected deficit. When it left Finance, it had an $80 million projected deficit, and that's with the 1/8 millage rate reduction. And that's because even though we slightly lowered revenue, we greatly offset it by expenses by saying we didn't really cut a lot, but we said no to expanded programs and new programs. So just like in a business, your profit is only dependent on revenue. It's revenue and expenses. So expenses were lowered at a higher rate than what revenue was. So again, the council bill, the final budget bill, had a lower projected deficit. And then the last thing I'll say here, we're talking about $15 million of the $45 million, and Councilmember Howland, you mentioned cash completion grants. That can be a part of this. Next year, of that $80 million deficit, or I'm sorry, of the 5-year deficit, $75 million is committed cash completion grants. So we really need to think about that $30 million being used for that, as you mentioned. In fact, just looking at what's coming due, you add up shipyards and Rise Doro, that's a little over $29 million. We could cut next year's deficit in half by using that $30 million for downtown. So just to start thinking about that, we have that money to where we could cut a deficit in half right now and still have the $15 million to support workforce. So it'd be basically $45 million for downtown, workforce, and institutions of higher learning. So again, just kind of my thoughts on where we're at right now in the process.
All right, thank you. Mr. Salem, recognized.
Thank you, Chair. To my good friend, Councilmember Lannon, I was in Neighborhoods. I heard the comment, but it was no sense in trying to get into a tick for tack during that time. I completely agree with you. And also, as I stated there, if we do take the $3 million out of TDC, I think it should go towards deficit reduction. That's my feeling. That's where I'll be supporting. And I think that's going to be a battle over that $3 million. I just see it. Number two, I've always been supportive of dollars through this government for education. I've been, in my time on the council, very supportive of UF Health and their dollars. I supported the UF campus. I supported the JU Law School, and I believe we do have a role in supporting our local universities, and hope to vote that way. In terms of the EWU, I just want to get some clarification from what I just heard. And you can nod your head if you agree with what I'm saying, sir. The $2.67 million, and the university has a loan to complete that $45 million community center. So all we're putting in is 2.67, and we get a $45 million community center out on your campus. He's nodding yes. We cannot commit future councils to any dollars, and that's very important that we can't do it, and we should not be having those kind of discussions. So the next Finance Committee will deal with any other requests that come forward, but that's important to me. The last point I want to make are clawbacks. I've had a brief discussion with Mary. It's important to me that in all these agreements with these universities, there are firm clawbacks so that if the universities do not complete the project as designed, we're going to pull that money back. So it's important that that be included in all 4 or 5 of these agreements as far as I'm concerned. I understand there might be some language in there now, but I believe we should make that as tight as we can for all these university funding. And for that matter, for the workforce development, if there's a project such as NEFBA's, it's important that that project gets completed, and if we're putting $1 million in it, it should be completed. And they're nodding their heads out there. I think they see what I'm saying. So that's where I'm at. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Joe Carlucci, recognized.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll try not to belabor any of this, but favorite part about the bill is the workforce development. Really love that. Before I even got on council, and I didn't really know what even that was, but as I've learned more about it, it's critical, and I love that part about this bill. Breaking it up, as Councilmember Howland has said, makes sense to me. I think there's benefits to that. I'm supportive of the TDC dollars. I think that's a wise move for the tourism part of UNF. Obviously, we want them to succeed, and we want those room rates. I mean, 17,000 room nights per year. Increasing that only increases, those dollars in TDC. So that's a very good thing. As far as the deficits go, with that, I guess extra $3 million, certainly open to that. I guess the mayor's office does have kind of a tough budget to create for us because there is going to be deficits. So I don't know that we need to be overly concerned about it right now at this point, because I think there's other areas that need to be looked at in order to take away from that deficit. Certainly would not support using that $30 million for existing projects. I think that's, perhaps a way it could be done, but that's not what it was intended for in my legislation. That's just not something I think is a wise move. I guess on the surface it could be seen as a wise move, but I think there's other ways and other uses for those dollars that are ultimately going to be spent on other things downtown. So we can get into all that later, but just wanted to put that kind of on the record for whatever it's worth. And otherwise, yeah, I look forward to the actual vote on this, and thank you for kind of deferring it and letting us soak it in a little bit, getting our questions answered. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. All right. If you guys want to take a vote on it, we'll take a vote on it now. Just move it. I don't think you want to. Okay. All right. All right, Ms. Pittman, you're recognized. Yes.
To the chair, just a couple of questions, and maybe you can help me out because I didn't get a chance to hear the meeting on yesterday regarding the spirit of this bill and how it is actually going to benefit long term, because I just hear y'all talking about a lot of the future debt that we're in, and so I want to make sure that I understand this, number one. And number two, if these dollars are approved for these institutions. Will there be, or have any of them mentioned about leverage dollars from either state or federal, and how would that be an opportunity? So if you can share the light on that for me, I'd appreciate it.
All right. Well, yes. Many, if not most, already have matching grants from the state, and also private dollars as well too. You heard UNF. Their project is actually a $38 million project, and all we're doing is $6 million. And I say all, but it's $6 million. Why? Because they're getting matching dollars. They're getting private dollars. FSCJ, it's a 2 to 3 phase project worth $17 million. We're putting $5 million into it. EW, you heard them, it's a $35 to $40 million project. As it is right now, it's 2.675 from our commitment. What percent do we do? NEFBA is a $7 million project. We're investing $1 million. And then Workforce Industrial Training Center, they're having their students getting certified, over 100 students going back into the workforce. So that's the one that's not a capital improvement project, but at the end of the day, actually, that's the only one that's not a capital improvement project. The other 4 are. But at the end of the day, all these, for the most part, are getting matching dollars. Yep.
And I just wanted your spirit of putting this together. I know this is probably the first time that the city is doing this for educational institution and capital. I mean, actually, you're talking about workforce development, capital improvement, and education. So do you see this being just a one-time kind of thing? Are you expecting this to come back? I just want to make sure of that as well.
Yeah. So the spirit of it, where it came from, where it resonated, as Council Vice President Howland said, all of us, we have our passion, right? For me, it's workforce and higher education. I've been on this body now for 2.5 years now, and I've seen hundreds of millions of dollars go towards like UF Health, for example, and they're doing a tremendous job. I see it go to JU, and we're looking at our local colleges and universities that literally are the source of where most of these students go to. UNF, FSCJ, like they're going there. EW, they're going there. Not many go to JU, right? Not many go to UF or are going to go to UF here because it's going to be like a higher learning program. Yet we're not contributing any dollars to them. And so I've made it a mission since day number 1 where I want to be able to advocate for our smaller, and I say smaller because they're not smaller, but the ones that are getting the least amount of money. UNF is one of those. FSCJ, obviously that's my alma mater, and they don't get anything. And so it gets to a point where I say enough is enough. We need to figure out a way to help them out as well too, to be not the same level field as UF and JU, but at least be somewhat comparable. When it comes to workforce education and training, you call any plumbers these days or HVAC, the rates are through the roof. Why? Because A, they're on demand. B, we don't have enough here. And you've heard from FSCJ and NEFBA, they're having to expand their programs. Why? Because they don't have enough capacity. That trade is on demand. And if we're not doing anything as a body to help these organizations that are doing the best job possible for this, then we are failing our city. And so the spirit of where it comes from is, quite frankly, the fact that this is our city and we need to do positive, good. And to me, while it's $15 million and it sounds like a lot, and it is a lot of money, when you're looking at a $2.2 billion budget, it's nothing. And this is a small piece that we could get back. And we've also had other individuals from Journey apprenticeship programs that I've met through since having these conversations that, and I know they're in the room today, that I want to be able to work with them as well too, because at the end of the day, like this is the heart and soul of our city. And so that's where my spirit is at, and I hope you could feel my passion about this because I really think that...
I'm hearing you. I'm feeling it.
Thank you.
I just have one last question. And I don't know when you put the budget together. I'm looking at WIT, who does an awesome job. It's not a college. It's a vocational training program, which is also located in my district. I think it's $325,000, which is not a whole lot of money, right? So when you put this budget together, is that something that they said that they would need, or because if they had more money, they could train more students, right? And it's really in the heart of District 10 in areas that could train more students. So that was a I had. I didn't know if there was a reason, because everybody else got over $1 million and everything, and this one got 325.
I know you love your district.
I do.
And I'm sorry
but
for
the
stepping
training,
into your district.
well, but I'm just saying that training is not just for the district, it's open for the community, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So let
And
me
I
answer
just
the
want to
question.
know if, you know, if they could get more money to train more students, and I've seen the work that they've done and the success it has been. I was just asking the question. I don't know if Mr. James Coleman is here, or if Mr.
They're here.
Okay, if someone can come, if you don't mind.
I'll call him up right now. Perfect timing. So,
Okay, he came in just in
Let me answer your
time.
question very quick.
Yes.
And then we'll call him up. Mr. Coleman, just have a seat for a second. I'll call you right up, right? I know you're very territorial in a positive way of your district. You protect your district.
Well,
so
good thing.
I got involved because I love helping out as much as I can possible, especially in your district and every district. This particular group, Workforce Industrial Training Center, they're going to speak on this matter now, but they have a threshold of 100 students.
Okay.
And I asked them, what does that number look like to you?
Okay.
They said 325.
Okay.
All right, let's move forward with that. That's the case.
Okay.
I really do hope, because out of all of these 5 entities, no offense, UNF, FSCJ, NEFBA, everybody out there, EWU, this is my favorite one.
I know.
I love this.
Mine
I
too.
know what they're doing. So I said, hey, based off of this and based off of the work that you guys do, I hope that Ms. Pittman carries the torch moving forward. So with that, Mr. Coleman, you have 2 minutes on the clock. Please state your name and address and talk about your program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Through the chair, my name is James Coleman. I'm the president of Workforce Industrial Training. Workforce Industrial Training, our school itself provides training for barrier-based individuals, returning citizens, phased-out foster care, homeless veterans. For the past few years, we've been providing that training at no cost. We've been fortunate and been blessed to have community partners and shareholders that have allowed our students, even though they have barriers and backgrounds, to have an opportunity to get trained and get jobs to move into a more productive life. As it stands, we're at about an 80% completion rate, 90% placement, 75% retention after 6 months. Our trades usually last, programs are going to be 10 months, 10 cohorts, starting from January out to October of next year. As it stands, we do have a waiting list of students that are waiting to get on the program or waiting to be trained. I think the funding that we receive, if we are so deserving of it, that I think we can help a lot of people. More importantly, the economic impact puts us at about $2.4 million and a community ripple at about 3.7 million. As it stands, we are deeply in need of finance. The finance will help go forward to help these people, well-deserving, to try to get the opportunities they need with cost-free training. We are conveniently located on Sutel Drive. Our building is 45,000 square feet, which gives us an opportunity to provide multiple trade or intro to trade programs, starting from flooring, welding, warehousing, carpentry. We utilize NCCR curriculums. We utilize OSHA. We utilize HTMR training. Myself, I'm an NCCR master trainer. I'm a OSHA outreach master trainer, and I'm also an OSHA instructor. We utilize our certificates and completions and credentials to give those individuals the opportunity to get that foot up, to get them in the opportunity to make sure that we can put them in this workforce to increase Jacksonville's ability to meet those needs in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, Ms. Pittman, any other questions or?
Because now that you told me about the 325, I was just thinking it needed to be, if they had more, but if they have a threshold, I understand that. Not a problem. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Coleman.
Thank you. All right, last speaker up is Councilmember Peluso. Recognize, sir.
Thank you, Chair, and thanks for letting folks speak on this. I know we're deferring it for another 2 months or another 2 weeks, and I think that's wise. To the point of providing assistance for public and private institutions, couldn't agree more. I think it is part of our role and responsibility, specifically because of the services they provide to our constituents. I don't know nearly as much about UNF, and well, I do know a good amount about JU. I mean, how they've got their law school right downtown, and that's been a massive benefit, public benefit to our city. But when it comes to EWU, they are such a unique university because they're one of the few universities, especially really even within Florida, that's like a neighborhood university. Like it's embedded in the neighborhood. And so we've got a really unique relationship with them as a city. And some of those things have put them in such a unique space for a number of reasons. One of which is the Shell Suite Center. I know we've talked about Shell Suite a little bit in this space. So that's land that's owned by EWU, but the building is owned and bought for by the city of Jacksonville. There was a 30-year lease. The 30-year lease has ran out. And so part of Shell Suite and why it's so important is it's got a clinic inside that provides much needed medical assistance to the community. A lot of seniors use it, for instance, as well as students. And so I just want to make sure that as we're talking about, and I mentioned this with EWU, as we're talking about the different opportunities that we're taking advantage of, and this project is a great one, because there's a lot of vacant land over there and a lot of need for new construction and for young people to have a place to live. Those young people are going to have expendable income. They're going to spend it in the commercial areas. Great idea. Love it. But I just want to make sure that as we continue to build our relationship with any of these universities, but in this case EWU, that we see that, okay, the other relationships that we built with them are also continuing in a positive way. So I need to know what's going on with Shell Suite. The 30-year lease is up. Are we going to continue that 30-year lease? I spoke with Travis Jeffrey before I came here because the neighborhoods department is the one that's managing that lease. Right now it's month to month. And it's my understanding that the clinic in there, again, a vital piece of a vital need. We all know what's happening right now at the federal level and what's going on in medicine. This community needs that clinic to remain operational. I need to know that it will and what that's going to look like. Secondly, and I wish she was here, Councilwoman Tamara Clark Murray and I both put in $175,000 into the Newtown Success Park. It's land that's owned by EWU. We have a joint use agreement with them. The joint use agreement has been suddenly kind of taken away. We still have questions as to why. I think they want to use it for parking for their stadium. Perfectly fine. Just want to know what that timetable looks like. Again, this is all about how are we building the relationship with EWU as we move this forward. I want these dollars to go to EWU. I want this community center. I want dorms. Safe, brand new dorms will be phenomenal for the area. The more young people that are in the area, good, very good thing. I want it. Want to make sure that the other investments that we made there also have a future too. So as we move forward, I know I need to have those answers, and I need to know what the plan is, and I hope that my colleagues will concur, because we all know, we've all been to that neighborhood. We were all standing on hallowed ground where 3 individuals were murdered. We know what that community looks like and the hurting that is going on there. And EWU has a rare opportunity, because based on their location alone and their history in the area, to be a major value add in so many different ways. They have a lot of land. We should be spending more money on EWU, but so long as that land is being used and developed in a way that I think will benefit the community for decades to come. So just need a few more questions answered. I hope after you're done, Professor, if we can go hang out in the green room. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. Peluso. And I will just state that this is being deferred for 2 weeks. I will have Mr. Fopoulos send out a one-way communication to all the council members to make sure that you had your questions answered. And if the answer is no, then I'm going to defer it again. So the onus is on you all to make sure that you respond to each council member. Otherwise, I'm going to continue to defer this. All right, Mr. Diamond, you're recognized.
I'll be really fast. I'm very likely a no on the entire bill for the same reasons for deficit reduction and fiscal, just sanity's sake. I do like the NEFBA piece of the puzzle. So if that were carved off, I'm sure I could support that. But the rest of it, I'll be a no. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Pittman. Yeah, ma'am.
The chair, and I want to follow up to what Councilman Jimmy just said regarding this Shell Center. I don't know if anyone can answer this. I'd like to know when was the last time that the Shell Center was upgraded, because I remember when it first opened, and Ms. Heath, who's been running that, doing a very, very good job. I don't know if anyone can answer that. And is it included in EWC either future initiatives with buildings? Because one, I know that center gets a lot of usage. And so I don't know, Mr. Newby, or Councilman Newby, if you can answer that or someone can, because again, it's your district and my district are right next to each other. And I know a lot of the residents in that area utilize it. And I just hate for there's other initiatives, on the campus, but it's like right there in the middle. And so I'd like to know if there's an opportunity in the future to build there. And I don't know if is Mayo still there or not, but I know there's doctors there. So I'm just curious, can anyone answer that question?
I don't work. I'm
Doc, can you come up and?
West, if you don't mind coming up, please answer.
I'm sorry. Is it okay for him?
Oh, of course,
okay.
yeah.
Thank you. I'd just like to know, are there any plans in the future for the Shell Center since it's been there for some time? Thank you.
Yep, through the chair to Ms. Pittman. So a couple questions were put out there, so I'm going to address them here. The 30-year lease did expire. However, the city had the opportunity to go ahead and if they so chose to allow it to roll over into a new lease,
Okay.
they could, and that did happen. So I'm not
Okay.
sure exactly where the paperwork is currently on that, but that was an automatic clause in that particular lease that once we got to the 30-year point, unless the city said, hey, we're not interested, it would then roll over. So my understanding is the city is now continuing the lease.
For the 30 years or?
Yes, I believe
Okay.
there's another 30 years.
Okay.
The other piece of that original contract was that the city was supposed to provide the maintenance, overhead, and facility upkeep during the original contract. Edward Waters University has footed that bill the entire time. So in the new rollover, those terms have to apply to the rollover. So the city will need to take on some of the facilities maintenance and upkeep of that space. So to your question, there's not really been a lot of upgrade, but we have maintained that building and done all the facility upkeep. So whether it's the janitorial, the facilities maintenance, et cetera, whether it's capital projects, HVAC, et cetera, we have footed that bill for at least the last 7 years.
I just want to make sure you all have footed that bill.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. JSO is similar in design, except that we actually do, in the contract, have a requirement to handle facility maintenance, upkeep, et cetera.
Okay.
So we have absorbed that the entire time that agreement has been in place.
Okay, because I know after 30 years, it would need some major upgrades at this time. So I just want to know as we go forward and as we develop the budget, that the Shell Center is included, either with the city is part of doing the upgrades, because it hasn't been in many, many years. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay, this bill is being deferred, as mentioned, for 2 weeks. No further questions, so we will now move on to the regular agenda. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today and coming out and speaking about your piece of this legislation. Once again, notices will be going out, not this Friday, next Friday, to all the council members, so just get your questions answered. Thank you. All right, starting out with the top of the agenda, page number 2. Number 1, 2024-0627 is deferred. Number 2, 2024-0966 is deferred. Number 3, 2025-0361 is deferred. Number 4, 2025-0424, we have an amendment.
Move the amendment.
Motion and second on the amendment. Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair of the committee, the amendment corrects the name of the Snyder project, revises the fiscal year appropriation to our current year since we've now crossed into the new fiscal year. Strikes reference to a grant that these dollars will be used for, as we're not sure what the incentive structure will be, and then revises the BT to correct various account names.
All right, thank you. No speakers on the queue. I do have a question. I know that we had that downtown special committee. I had to leave early that day. I don't know why, but I left early. Why? How do we get to that part where Snyder is now going to take over, and then what's going to happen with the restaurant possibility of that, I guess, park?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, if I can have Mr. Perola come up and fill us in on that.
Thank you, and to the chair, Guy Perola with the Downtown Investment Authority. You recall when this item was first deferred, I made a comment for Vice President Howland asked a question, what is the future of the restaurant pad? At that time, I said, well, we're going to move the money, so it's pretty much uncertain. Since that time, we have a new CEO, and as a new CEO becomes educated, the veracity of that comment may change. That said, we know the restaurant pad is a piece of grass right now that can be very, very patient with its future. Conversely, we have a 112-year-old building that needs HVAC and really needs somebody, so it can be less patient. So I guess to you, Mr. Chairman, while we're figuring out the future, we definitely need to help the Snyder building along.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Perola. I guess my question to you would be, if we were to have proceeded with the restaurant pad, there's a lot of underground pipes and things that you would have had to done, electrical and all that kind of stuff. If you're not doing that now, and we decide to move forward with this restaurant in, let's say, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever the case is, are we going to now have to dig up things and mess up the whole workflow of the park itself, or are you guys still retrofitting it right now so that at least it'll be an easier transition in the future should we decide to go that route?
Through the chair, great question. Our CEO had a very similar question about a month ago, so we did massing studies. We can fit a restaurant pad on there without disrupting the 54-inch main riding to its north. There is a concrete conduit utility bank going through it, but it was there when the landing was there. You just have to bridge around it. So we were not going to have to dig up utilities to the greatest extent that I know right now. Of course, until you start putting stuff really hardcore in the ground, you never know what you're going to find. But we don't think we're going to find much given that we've redeveloped the park around it.
Okay, thank you. All right, you're good? All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Leanon, you're right on the bill. All right, thank you, sir. All right, so with that being said, all in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Amendment passes. Motion second on the bill is amended. Mr. Leanon, recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Through the chair to Ms. Taylor, my understanding is there's no general fund dollars associated with this. This is all, I assume, within the TIF.
Through the chair to Councilmember Lane, and that's correct.
Thank you.
All right. No other questions? Open up the ballot and record your vote.
Six yeas, one nay.
By your motion, 2025-0424 passes. Going on to number 5, 2025-0727. We have motion and a second on the bill. I do have a card, a speaker for this bill. Stanley Pipes. All right, you're recognized. You have 3 minutes, sir.
I'm Stanley Pipes. I'm the district manager for Harbor Waterway Special District, and what this bill does is amend a prior ordinance 23-351. As a result of the JEA tower raising project, they have kind of taken over the area where we were going to build picnic pavilions and put docks in, and so we have deferred to them. And this is a amendment that extends our deadline to complete all the improvements. And I'm pretty much here just to answer any other questions. Yeah.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. I have no speakers on the queue. And we have a motion. So with that being said, we're going to open up the ballot and record the vote.
Seven yeas, zero nays.
By your motion, 2025-0727 passes. Number 6, 2025-0766. We have a motion and a second on the amendment. Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair of the committee, the amendment attaches a revised Exhibit 2, which is the Schedule B1A, to correct the schedule and reflect the proper number of part-time hours at 1,300, and then correct various scriveners throughout the bill.
Okay, no speakers on the queue. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. The amendment passes. Motion second on the bill is amended. No speakers. Open up the ballot and record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
All right, motion 2025-0766 passes. All right, number 7, 2025-0767. Motion and second on the bill. No speakers on the queue. Open up the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
All right, motion 2025-0767 passes. Number 8, 2025-0768. Motion and second on the amendment. Mr. Peterson, please.
Through the chair of the committee, the amendment just attaches a revised CIP sheet to correct the prior year appropriation amounts.
Okay. All right. No speakers in the queue. All in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Amendment passes. Motion and a second on the bill is amended. No speakers in the queue. Let's open up the ballot and record a vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
All right, motion 2025-0768 passes. Number 9, 2025-0769.
Move the amendment.
Motion and second on the amendment. Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair of the committee, same thing, correcting the prior year appropriation on the CIP.
Thank you. All in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Amendment passes.
Move the bill's amended.
Motion and second on the bill is amended. No speakers on the queue. Let's open up the ballot and record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your motion, 2025-0769 passes. Moving on to number 10, 2025-0774.
Move the bill.
Motion and second on the bill. I do have speakers on the queue. Mr. Diamond, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't really love that Jala couldn't figure out that its contract had run out. I mean, it's literally run by lawyers. Come on, guys. But I know lawyers aren't as smart as we think. That's a fact. I'll vote for it, but I don't want us to get in the habit of just ignoring the fact that contracts run out.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Diamond. I had similar concerns. This actually just happened again like 2 months ago with somebody else, a different entity. The contract ran out. We had to figure out a way to fund them. However, this case, these monies were already encumbered, so I have no issues with it. But yeah, anybody that's receiving dollars from us should read the contracts. And for the most part, this one at least, the problem with this one that I have is that they've been doing business with us for over 20 years. This is not the first time yet it happened. They should have known better than this. So this is more of a slap on the wrist for them moving forward, but just I hope this doesn't happen again next year. And with that being said, no speakers on the queue. Let's open up the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
All right, by your motion, 2025-0774 passes. Bless you. All right, number 11, 2025-0775 is deferred. Number 12, 2025-0776. Motion and second on the amendment. Mr. Peterson, please.
Through the chair of the committee, the amendment would include a waiver of the public investment policy to authorize this REV grant. This project is not within a targeted industry category or located within an economically distressed area or a CRA, and therefore the waiver also places a revised agreement on file to strike reference to a job creation schedule that does not apply in this instance. Also updates various code references and corrects various scribblers.
All right, thank you. I do have one speaker, Ms. Pittman, recognized.
To the chair, can Mr. Randolph come up? I just want to know a little bit more.
This is my district, so don't mess with my district.
I ain't gonna mess with your stuff.
Mr. Randolph, you're recognized. Are you on the amendment or the bill?
The bill.
All right, well, we'll take an action on the amendment first if that's the case.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Mr. Diamond, on the amendment or the bill? Bill, cool. Mr. Randolph, just hang tight. All right, all in favor of the, Mr. Lanin? Bill. All in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Amendment passes. All right, we have a motion and second on the bill as amended. Ms. Pittman, you're recognized. And Mr. Randolph, go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to ask something about employment. Is this local or is this a new company coming in? Or if you could just give me a little summary quickly.
Sure.
Thank you.
Ed Randolph, OED, through the chair to Councilwoman Pittman. The company will be hiring local. They're going to have a minimum of, we're looking at about 100 jobs at about $50,000 a year.
Okay.
Overall, this does not fit within the public investment policies as written. Obviously, there's a waiver, but we truly think this is a great opportunity of which the company approached us. Really unique concept. This would be the first surf park in the state of Florida. So we feel like there's going to be a great opportunity to not only hire local folks, not just even for the construction element, but long-term, but also attract a lot of folks from the region, nationally, and even internationally to take part in this great development.
So they'll be able to have, I guess, the competitions that they have as well for this.
Correct. To the chair, to Councilwoman Pittman. Yeah. So one element of this, which was really enticing to us, and really they came in over budget. This is a complex project, so that's really the reason why we're helping out here. The company approached us a couple of months ago and said they're looking at first they were envisioning a $110 million roughly project. Now they're looking at probably a $20-30 million additional expense in that, just like installing a swimming pool in Florida, the hydrostatic pressure, the water table level. This is a very complex project that's going to have a lot of inertia in that it's a surf park. It's the first in the state of Florida. So developing in Florida something like this is very complex. So with that, we went ahead and said, look, $20-30 million, that's quite a large amount, but I thought a REV grant would be, again, just try to offset some of their costs, but all in, not only will they be, benefiting the community by having this as a recreational, amenity, but also surfing just became an Olympic sport back in 2020. So truly, we're looking at this as being long-term, a real asset in that you see Orlando, Indianapolis, looking at drawing competitions and other groups to come there for soccer, baseball, whatever. sport, we truly think surfing is on the cusp of kind of becoming that. So having this controlled environment here, even the female aspect of it, female surfing is becoming a much bigger thing. So all in all, we truly think it's a great benefit to the community, and that's why we're supporting it. So it's a long way to answer your question, Councilman.
No, but thank you, because I didn't know anything about it. So that's why I wanted you to share. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Diamond?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm excited to support this bill. Number one, it's not asking for any taxpayer dollars. Yay. OED, anytime you want to do that, I'm all in. This is a targeted tax cut. I think it's great. Second thing I like about it is that it's not just in downtown. It drives me crazy that we spend so much money in downtown, but there are neighborhoods all around Jacksonville where people need jobs. And frankly, that's where they want to be. I think it's wonderful that it's in your district, Councilman Arias. As somebody who's been to surf parks and other places, I think they're really transformational. I hope it becomes like the official Olympic surfing center for America. Let's get there. What the Whitewater Center did in Charlotte, North Carolina is just revolutionary for them. So let's hope this is just like the beginning of that for us. But I do want to acknowledge, and this has to be on the record, that this will be the second best surf park in Jacksonville after the beautiful beaches in Atlantic Ocean. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All right. Just to make sure one thing, this will be probably the second best one, but this will be the safest one. You win. All right. So, all right. Mr. Laney, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. No sharks in District 11. Got it. So as the OD liaison, I just want to point out a couple things. The only reason there's a waiver is that Mr. Randolph had the lack of foresight to think that a surf park could be a targeted industry. And then also, as Councilmember Diamond said, this is in a new part of town where we don't normally see a lot of these. And REV grants are usually great deals for everyone. This is vacant woodland for the most part. There is no other company willing to spend $62 million. So we're still going to get more than we otherwise would have with this REV grant. So another great deal put together by Mr. Randolph and his team, and I look forward to going to my first surf park other than District 13 sometime in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Holland.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was skeptical on this one at first because this is actually waiving my own changes that I made to the city's public incentive plan, which were designed to make it easier for companies to get REV grants, particularly those in manufacturing and logistics. And that was to drive job growth, particularly in economically distressed areas. And this is not an economically distressed area. And what really bothers me is there was only 10 jobs. So my first question to Brad and Chris when they came to my office is, why are we doing this for only 10 jobs? Are you basically building a car wash that's a capital intensive structure and there's only be 10 people there? And what I learned is no, it's about 110 jobs. So it's just 10 per the agreement that Mr. Randolph worked out for them to keep the REV grant incentive. So that changed me. I flipped. I'm supportive of the project, and I'll vote yes today. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. No other speakers in the queue, and I will not belabor this, but it's about time that, as Mr. Diamond said, we do some kind of incentive programs for outside of downtown and the Northwest Quadrant. So I'm happy that this is in my district, but I do hope that more of these projects come along for the greater Jacksonville, not just the specific parts that always get the incentives. All right. We already took up the amendment, so we're ready to vote on the bill, right? So let's open up the ballot and record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
All right. By your motion, 2025-0776 passes. Going on to number 13, 2025-0777. We have an amendment.
Move the amendment.
Motion and second on the amendment. And Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair of the committee, the amendment places a revised agreement on file to correct the gold JSEB amount. The full grant amount was inadvertently included, and we all know the 20% the amount we ask companies to invest into the JSEB program, correct various scrivener's errors in the agreement and then also in the bill.
All right. No speakers on the queue. All in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. The amendment passes. We have a motion second on the bill as amended. Mr. Laney, recognized.
Thank you. Through the chair to Ms. Taylor and Mr. Peterson, how much remains in this fund now, because we took some more out of it fairly recently?
Through the chair to Councilmember Lane, great question. There's about $1 million. I know that's the number that I gave the last time we were here, but that fund gave out loans in years past, and so it gets replenished occasionally, and so now it's back up to $1 million.
Through the chair, thank you, Mr. Peterson. And to the committee, I'll support items 13 and 14, but I'm going to keep on pointing out that at some point this fund's not going to have anything left in it, And that's when it becomes a much bigger conversation, because the last time this fund got replenished, I believe, other than some loan paybacks, was BJP. So again, assuming that OED supports it and the district council person supports it, I'll support it up until the point we're talking about adding more money into it. And then that's when the conversation becomes a lot more critical as far as, are we going to put more money into it, which will be a hard sell for me and I imagine some others as well. Thank you.
Sir, I actually had a similar question to Mr. Peterson, how much money was in there, because I know we recently took action on that. So I will ask Mr. Peterson or Mr. Randolph, moving forward, when you come up with any kind of incentive packages for Northwest OED, that you come with a balance of what's there. Otherwise, we're just kind of asking the same questions. So because the only way that does get added revenue into is by the loan repayments. That's the only way to continue to extend it. So, all right, Mr. Salem, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. My recollection is it was BJP, 1999, $25 million. Is that correct? So just to give you some perspective. Thank you.
Thank you for that. All right, so we are ready to vote on the bill. Open up the ballot and record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
All right, by your motion, 2025-0777 passes. Moving on to 14-2025-0778.
Move the amendment.
Motion and a second on the amendment. Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair of the committee, same amendment on correcting the J-sub amount and Scribner's in the agreement and bill.
All right, all in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. The amendment will pass.
Move the bill's amended.
Motion and second on the bill as amended, and no speakers in the queue. Let's open up the ballot and record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
All right, by your motion, 2025-0778 passes. Ms. Pittman, are you on this one or something else? No, I'm on this. Okay, go ahead. Yep. On which one? 14 or 15? Go ahead, yeah. Yep. We already voted, by the way, on the bill. Okay.
Mr. Randolph, is this actually in Springfield in a park, or where is this located?
Through the chair, Ed Randolph, OED, through Councilwoman Pittman. No, it's right on Main Street, right near Main and 6th. So
Okay.
there's two vacant buildings there. One is an old brewery. Another is just an old office building that's been vacant for a while. So this would be a vet practice, which would be the first in the urban core. We lack a veterinarian operation here in the urban core. And they're going to be opening up putting life back into the old brewery. They're going to be creating something like the facility out in Neptune Beach, the Brewhound Bar, kind of same concept. They're going to have a dog park in addition to their veterinarian practice. So yeah, really neat project. And again, bringing more life and development there.
So it's just before you get to Crispers?
Correct.
Okay, great. I know what you're talking. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Number 15, 2025-0780.
Move the bill.
Motion and second on the bill. Mr. Lenin, I don't see in the queue, but why are we pulling from the reserves?
Sure. So first of all, I think everyone's heard my pitch on this already, or you were there at last Wednesday. I think Councilman Carlucci, you're not. So real quick, we remember the mayor had a transition committee recommendation bill, had about $26 million in it. Within that was $1 million for small business capital access, and within that there was $50,000 where myself, working with Ed Randolph and Gregory Grant, established a veterans entrepreneurship grant program. Something very personal for me. Both my grandfathers, when they got out of the Navy, they established their small businesses here within about a mile of each other on University Boulevard. And so with 3,000 people either retiring or separating from the service, already living here, this is something we can do to provide a relatively low-cost incentive to help people think about starting a small business or a franchise, et cetera. You can go to the JSEB website. This program did get started in September, which led to this current problem. When we were approaching 9/30/25, Councilmember Johnson had a bill that I co-sponsored that provided for carryover funding for the portion of the Small Business Capital Access Program that had not been spent yet. You may recall in Finance Committee, I did ask from up here on the dais to confirm that the Veterans Entrepreneurship Grant Program was included in that. We were told yes, not blaming anyone. It was found that after that, a couple weeks after that, as we rolled into October 1st, in fact, this portion was not covered by that piece of legislation. And so you'll notice it's $48,000. That's because the program went live in September. We've given out one $2,000 grant, but we got a full queue of those that we're looking at now. And once this money is appropriated, we'll be able to continue on with the granting process of that. So I'll stand by for any other questions. And I think I've established myself as hating taking money out of the reserves, but I think this is a cause, and given the dollar amount, I think we should continue on with this program that we've already set up and had applications for.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Pittman, you're recognized.
Clarification, I do remember the concept, and I think, Councilman Holland, you had a potential program for veterans as well. Is this the same? Is this different? Mr. Holland, can you?
Through the chair to Ms. Pittman, no, this is new. This is the first time we've done a Veterans Entrepreneurship Grant program like this, and it only went live this past September. It took a while to navigate all the, from the application requirements to the eligibility to how mechanically we would pay out those grants. But again, it finally went live in September, and if Mr. Grant or Mr. Randolph, it's very confusing, his last name being Grant, talking about a grant program as well. But if either of you have anything to add, you're welcome to come up if the chair will allow it. But I think I summarized it pretty well, that this is a new program that just went live in mid-September.
Okay, I just wanted, just for clarification, I know we spoke about 3 different programs that were potentially for veterans. That's when I think the Urban League came up and you all weren't aware. I just wanted to make sure this wasn't the same program. All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Joe Carlucci.
All right, thanks, Mr. Chair. Just real quick, I totally supported this bill. I'm just curious, for future years, like going forward, what's the plan for the funding? Through the chair to Councilmember Lane.
Through the chair, we kind of want to wait and see what the successes we have with this. We're going to go through this 50,000 pretty fast because I do think we had a full queue that we're just waiting to get this passed and then continue vetting those that we have in the pipeline. If it looks like it's a successful program, I don't plan on us spending all 50,000 this month and coming back next month, but I kind of want to hear some success stories, see what those veterans are doing, and then potentially in future years. And again, most likely this would be a small part of any other additional kind of small business capital program we may embark on.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think that's obviously a smart approach to take. I would support future funding for it as well. I believe it's probably going to be widely successful. We have a huge veteran community here, and if we can, I'd like to just be added as a co-sponsor if that's possible.
All right, thank you. All right, no other speakers in the queue. So Ms. Pittman wants to be added as co-sponsor, Mr. Joe Carlucci, myself as a co-sponsor, Mr. Salem, and Mr. Howland are all co-sponsors to this. Mr. Grant, if you don't mind coming up here, please, for a second. I think this is what we need in our community. As the chair of the JSEP Special Committee for the last 2 years, I know that I'll be kicking off again in spring of 2026. Mr. Grant and myself are already having conversations on this. So your question, Mr. Joe Carlucci, on how we're going to continue funding, that's going to be part of the questioning that we're going to have to see how we could expand the program moving on to the next year. Because $50,000, if you already done $2,000 for one entity, that means you have 24 potentially left, which is not enough for the largest city with veterans. So can you talk to us about the future of this program?
Gregory Grant, JSEP Administrator. Thank you, Chair. So basically with the program, as Councilman Lane alluded to, we do have a queue already. As we started advertising it, we saw the numbers of interest increase. So I do anticipate these numbers or this money being spent fairly quickly. But to Councilman Lanen's point, we do want to also look at it and determine how it helped these veteran businesses. We want to understand how did it help them start? How did it help them grow? In terms of future funding, I am hoping that we can come to a consensus, maybe perhaps in the special committees.
Thank you, sir. One more question, Mr. Lane, sorry. The funding that you're giving to these businesses, are they JSEPs or can it be anybody in the veteran community?
Through the chair, it can be anyone in the veteran community.
Got it. All right, Mr. Lane.
Thank you, Chair. And I wanted to emphasize the JSEB portion of this too. Like they are required to go in and register with the supplier portal with the city as part of the application process. So it's not only veterans with their businesses coming to the community, it's also helping JSEB reach out and enroll more businesses potentially into their system as well.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Mr. Grant. So we have a motion on the bill, so let's open up the ballot and record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
All right, by your motion, 2025-0780 passes. Number 16, 2025-0781 is being deferred. We already went through that today. Number 17, 2025-0783.
Move the amendment.
Motion and second on the amendment. Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair of the committee, the amendment will correct the name of the Prime Osborne Convention Center and then also place a revised agreement on file to revise the performance schedule extension authority granted to the DIA CEO to a 6-month time frame and then correct various scriveners as well.
All right. No speakers in the queue. All in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Amendment passes. We got a second. Motion and second on the bill is amended. Mr. Leanan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Through the Chair to Ms. Taylor, Mr. Peterson. When we passed 2025-395, the max indebtedness was $105 million, I believe. So by doing the land swap deal, does this actually reduce what our projected deficit would be by $5 million?
Through the Chair to Councilmember Leanan, that is correct.
Through the Chair to Mr. Peterson, that is great. We have lowered future year deficits by $5 million in this meeting.
All right, Mr. Howland, you're recognized.
Yeah, I'd recommend we call this a property exchange agreement rather than a land swap deal. But just for confirmation, just looking at the notes here, Mr. Peterson, the Vescor parcel is appraised at 3.5 million, and the city is at 3.2 in this case. And then Vescor is also going to take on, you can confirm both these maybe, take on the responsibility for demolishing the building on the site?
Through the Chair to Councilmember Howland, that's correct to all of your statements.
I guess I would take this deal any day. Thank you. And thanks to Vescor.
All right. So we have a motion. All in favor of the amendment indicate by, so actually we already took that. So let's open up the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
All right, motion 2025-0783 passes. Number 18, 2025-0795.
Move the amendment.
We have a motion and a second on the amendment. Mr. Peterson.
Through the Chair of the committee, the amendment corrects an ordinance reference to the correct ordinance, strikes a section within the ordinance code that is being adjusted as part of this legislation to strike to correct the right citing, unstrikes the word Duval as it relates to residency for businesses that might have not been where the owner may not live in Duval County, but the business has a substantial business interest in the county for an 18-month period, and then also corrects various scriveners.
All right, thank you. For clarity, this is only for the monitoring committee members for the Duval part, not what is the Duval part. Can you talk about
to the Chair? So the word Duval was inadvertently struck when it's talking about a JSEB and whether or not the owner lives in the county for 12 consecutive months or the business has been located in the county for 18 months. With the striking of the word Duval, it was going to kick out some companies that otherwise would qualify for JSEB. It was just an inadvertent striking.
Okay, sounds good. All right, Ms. Pittman, recognized.
Mr. Peterson, I'm sorry. To the Chair, I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time? Because I thought before we did something a few years ago to put, so you're saying that a person who doesn't live here, but they have a business here? Because I thought that was a real big issue a few years ago. Can you explain that to me?
Through the Chair to Councilmember Pittman. So yes, ma'am. So in order to qualify for a JSEB, they have to also do a number of things, and one of those is meeting a residency requirement. And you can do that in one of, I believe it is 2 ways. First is being a resident of Duval County for a minimum 12 consecutive months prior to your application date. And the other is being a resident of Duval, St. John's, Nassau, Baker, or Clay if the principal place of business is in Duval County for an 18-month consecutive period.
18 months.
And so the Duval was inadvertently struck from that 18-month requirement
Okay.
by accident.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that.
Okay, all right. No other speakers in the queue. Let's open up the ballot and record your vote. So let's go vote on the amendment. So all in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Amendment passes. We have motion and second on the bill as amended, and no speakers in the queue. Let's open up the ballot. Record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
All right, motion 2025-0795 passes. And now we're going to switch to page 15, number 24. We have an emergency.
Move the emergency.
Motion, so 2025-0812, we have a motion and a second on the emergency. All in favor of the emergency indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. All right, emergency passes.
Move the amendment.
We have a motion and a second on the amendment. Mr. Peterson, go ahead.
Through the chair to the committee, the amendment would clarify the dollar amount ranges that, based on the various audit reports that a grant recipient would be required to submit. The intent was the first level of audit is from $100,000 up to $999,990.99. Once you hit that $1 million mark, you then fall into the single audit requirement. However, the language was from $100,000 to $1 million, and then $1,000,001 up. But the intent was for that under $1 million, so we're just clarifying that within the language.
Okay, all in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. The amendment passes.
Move the bill as amended as an emergency.
We have a motion and second on the bill as amended as an emergency. No speakers in the queue. We do have Mr. Howland on the queue. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to commend Councilmember Boylan for bringing this to our attention and doing an emergency with it. It'll be helpful for all those nonprofits who can't file their single audits. And actually, I believe the matter was brought to his attention by someone in out in town, Ms. Linda Ford, who runs the Ford firm and does nonprofit accounting for so many nonprofits across the city and does such a great job of it, looking out for her customers. And Mr. Boylan took quick action, so thank you, sir. I'll be a co-sponsor if I can, please. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So we have Ms. Pittman and Mr. Howland as a co-sponsor. All right. Let's open up the ballot and record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
All right, motion 2025-0812 emergency passes. And now we have a list of following are on second reading: 2025-0806, 0807, 0808, 0809, 0810, 0813, 0814, 0815. And that concludes today's Finance Committee meeting. Thank you, everybody. Meeting adjourned.